start with Ira, second row on your right.
Hey, Tatum. How did the combine go for you? I know you didn't do everything there. Do you plan on doing the things you didn't do there, I guess, here on Pro Day?
I plan on doing everything I didn't do at the combine, vert, broad, 40. So just being at the combine, honestly, it was just a great experience. That was something I always dreamed about since I was a little kid. So I thought it was fake when I seen the stadium. So it was one night I just stood out there and I just looked at it for a little minute, but it was a great experience.
Next question will be Jordan, third row on your left.
Tatum, can you just talk to us about your training the last 3 months and what specifically you're trying to work on and improve upon to show off on Friday?
The training, we work on a lot of specific stuff. It's been a lot of long days, but that's part of the grind. That's something I liked about it. But specifically, 40 is a big deal for almost everybody, and that's what have my main focus on, and then also doing position drills.
How many NFL teams have you really talked to, especially at the Combine, and what's been some of the feedback you've gotten from those folks?
I talked to a couple. I really can't remember the exact number. I'm not going to lie to you, but they all had the same feedback about my leadership and my style of play. I play like an old school linebacker, which for me is a compliment because those were the guys I studied was the old school linebackers like Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis. So I felt like that was a great experience for me to just be able to get feedback from them and worry about things I need to work on.
Go back to Jordan.
A lot of guys have already mentioned it, but can you just talk about the Combine with 11 of your former teammates and what it was like having their support in Indianapolis?
Man, I was so comfortable in Indy, just being able to sit with them doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it's 12 of us, so we all in there like who are these guys? They walking around, but we also got into a couple arguments about the playoffs and other teams and stuff like that. So it was just great not seeing. We didn't see those guys for almost like 3 months, and just being back together, it was a good feeling.
Go back to Ira on your right.
I don't want to bring it up, but we haven't talked to you since that all happened with the playoff and everything. How did you kind of handle that after the way you guys played in the AC Championship game? I'm sure that night you guys thought you were definitely in. How did you handle that process, I guess, going through that?
That moment was very emotional for me and all of us, honestly. Beginning of the off season, we always said January to January, and we was one day short from it. So it kind of hit us very hard when we worked hard for it, but just being able to be around guys, I was with Kalen the whole time we was training for the Combine and for tomorrow. So we talked about it and we just moved on from it. We just control what we can control.
You obviously played a ton of football before you even came to Florida State, had big numbers at your previous school. How do you feel like you improved as a player while you were at Florida State, and how so?
Definitely. I'll say I improved in just my mindset and my tackling especially. I focused on the little things, just being able to cover it also. I didn't reach the numbers I did when I was at UCF, but I felt like I'm a way better player than I was when I was at UCF, just off my leadership skills and being able to read out plays and watching film, just small things that I wasn't able to do when I was at UCF that I do very well here. So I feel like I got very better. I said very better. I'm tripping.
I wanted to ask you about the younger linebackers. You and Kalen obviously played so much, and DJ's kind of taken over as the old head in the room. But what have you seen from those younger guys last year, and what do you feel like? How do you feel like that group's going to step up?
I'm actually going out to practice today to actually look at what they need to work on or things I felt like we all talked about that they need to work on. Like beginning of the tour duty, we talked to DJ and Omar, and we was just make sure those guys hear our voice because we're going to be the leaders of the defense. And we talked to them, and they said they was doing that. We've been getting good feedback about them. So I just feel like it's just something they got to get used to. Everybody got to go through that, especially when you come in from a young stage, not getting as many snaps to almost getting every snap of the game. So especially Omar and DJ. DJ just going to have to step up and do what he always been doing. And he's just leader now, so I trust him.
Coach Fuller talked about how much, how smart of a player you are, and Coach Shannon's talked about too, and how much film you watch and all of that. Is that something that you can convey to NFL teams? How do you have to, when you talk to teams, do they ask you questions about like diagnosing things, or how does that part come up in it at all?
Yeah, that always come up in almost every interview I had and every conversation I had with a scout or a position coach. They ask you how much do you love watching film, or how much film do you watch, or how do you prepare for a game. And I felt like watching film is one of the biggest ways to be better on the field, because like if you go out there blind, it's almost like you're going out there blind, not knowing what to do, or you see like a certain formation and you don't know what could come from it. It's just like it makes everything harder for you. So I felt like watching film plays a big part of actually going to the NFL, because it's almost like smart football instead of just going out there and running around.
Go back to Jordan on your left.
You mentioned training with Kalen Deloach. Can you just talk about your personal relationship with him and how these last 3 months has really bonded you guys together?
Yeah, me and him was roommates when we was at we trained at Pensacola and Exo, so they put us as roommates. We was at a good resort, and we was right across from the beach, so I spent a lot of time with him. I usually do it every day since when I was here too, so I felt like it was nothing new to me. Yeah, it was the same, honestly, man. We've been doing what we've been doing since the past 2 years.
Next will be Matt, third row on your right.
Randy Shannon was your coach both at UCF and here. How much has he meant to your college career?
Yeah, Coach Shannon, man, he helped me grow as a player on and off the field, as a person on and off the field. It's just him always being there for me. I've been through a lot of ups and downs, and him just always being there for me, it just stuck with me. Coach Shannon is like another father for me, and I really appreciate him for it.
Go back to Ira.
You talked about going to the combine being a dream, and playing in the NFL being a dream. So what was it like when you were walking around and seeing some of these people you've seen on TV, these coaches that you've been watching for a long time? Can you remember what it was like when you were a kid watching them on TV, and what was that like for you?
Yeah, like I said, it was just like it didn't feel real at all, especially me seeing Mike Tomlin. Like I never saw him before. I always seen him on TV, and I was just in shock, honestly. I wasn't fanboying or anything like that, but I was just like, yeah, I'm really here. Like, we doing it. So I was excited.
All right, back to Jordan.
Following up on that, how did you kind of control your nerves to go out and perform? Did it kind of feel like a game? What was your mental routine, as you started your combine drills?
Before I went out there, I was the first person to start the drills also. So I told myself I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. It's nothing new. I've been doing the same drops, the same movements, same footwork. So I just go out there and be me, and then that's exactly what I did. It was a good experience. Just our very first drill was the wave drill. We had to lay down, and then I looked up, and there was nothing but bright lights, cameras. You could hit the big screen. That's what they showing on live TV. So it's just, it's definitely a moment that you're gonna remember forever. So.
Anything else? All right. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah.